One of the most important things here is that we're going to put the bows in the hooter shooter. We're going to draw them back and we're going to check them for their actual draw length. So what Caden did was he moved all of the bows and he moved them to be at 29 inches. I normally shoot a 29. It's actually a little short of a draw length for me, but that's where I am the most accurate, and so that's what I'm rolling with. We're going to use a hooter shooter here, right behind me. We're going to put them in there, and we're going to measure the draw length the way you're supposed to measure the draw length. So we're going to measure from the pivot point back to where the valley of the nock is touching the string. Then we're going to add 1.75 to that, so it's technically like your ammo length. And so I think you're going to be kind of surprised at what we get out of this, because we were starting this yesterday and we just got too busy to finish the video. Let's start that right now. So our first bow is going to be the PSE MACH 30DS. See if you can see that. So we're going to get that actual measurement now. I'll load it into the hooter shooter over here. You can do this on a draw board or whatever you need to do. And the first thing we have to do is put an arrow in it, because I forgot to go. So this has the 29-inch mod on it, to be very clear. We have the 29-inch mod. And so it's loaded into here. We're going to take that measurement. We're going to take it from the throat of the bow, which I'm going to bring this over here so you can see it closer. We're going to take the measurement from the throat of the handle or the pivot point all the way to where the nock connects. So we're going to start with the PSE first. This is the DS30, and again, it's got the 29-inch mod on it. We'll just crank that back in there, that hooter shooter. It's like somebody's been shooting at the ceiling with the hooter shooter lately, because it's all angled up. But all I'm going to do is bring it back in here and make sure the bow is in time. And it's not, so I'm going to go make that adjustment, and then we'll bring it back and put it back in the hooter shooter and make sure the bow is perfectly in time. And let me show y'all why it's not in time. Flip this around. So we're touching here, and as we go to our top, there's obviously a gap there, so I'm going to go fix that. See, bottom and top. And if we don't have that right, the draw length won't be accurate. So we'll flip this back around in a second and we'll get the actual draw length when that's back in time. We'll get this bad boy in time real quick. Bottom camel sitting first, do a little bit of adjustments on our press. Get them extended all the way forward. Even. Even on these. Make sure we're even on this side. So I'm just gonna get this in time real quick. Put these here to make sure we don't lose the bow besides the shootout. I did a full turn or so on there to make sure. We're gonna go back to the draw board now. We really want the new draw boards on these so we don't have to go back and forth. Let's go try this one out. So on all your bows that you set up, it's very important that you make sure that you have your timing on them, and that's one thing that we do in the store when we're setting up bows is we're making sure that the timing is dead on. So just to make sure that everything is perfect, you can't go make crazy adjustments without having the bow in time. It's a good starting point, and it's not in time, it also messes all the rest of your shooting up. This is a Mach 30DS, Suburban PSE. Really light bow. We'll get all the weight and all of that on here in a little bit, but what we're gonna do is draw it on back, everything, make sure that the timing is on it. Make sure that's in there already. Oh yeah, we should be a lot closer now. Show you this. So we are ever so slightly off. Not as bad as it was before, so we'll go fix that. Y'all are coming along on the journey. This is gonna be like a 40-minute video, so stay tuned. And ideally, when you're setting up your own bow, we don't like to adjust timing. What we do is we'll adjust timing, and then we will come back in and shoot the bow a few times to make sure the timing sticks. But for this right now, we're going to be okay with taking this bow and timing it and then putting it back in the hooter shooter because we're not really shooting it. We're just checking our draw length, and that timing will stay in place for that long. So we're just going to add, that was a full twist, from maybe half a twist to bring that back in. It should be good to go. So far, like, timing these bows is super easy. It does the traditional timing thing. You can also do some yoke tuning with these, which we'll get into when we're talking about the actual tuning, where we're going in and shooting them all through paper. But the yoke system on these is pretty sweet. It allows you to do some tuning, adjusting your left and right while keeping your center shot with your arrow. Put that back here. Back up. A little tension on it. Re-secure this. We just have the whisker biscuits on these for this, so it's easier to tune them. Sorry, easier to get started on them. That didn't work out too well, did it? Still got that gap that we're needing. But we're still got a gap in here. Let me show you this. So what we're going to do on the next one, bottom's touching, top isn't. We're going to go just make one more adjustment real quick, and then we'll be dead on. Back at the press, going to make that adjustment because for some reason that didn't solve what we were trying to do. Hopefully we got it fixed now. Feels better by the hand, but obviously we need to put it in there with the release to make sure that the timing is dead on. This should be it, and then we can get our measurement for the PSE Mach 30, and we'll shoot a video for every one of the bows. So now, you'll notice dead on, coming straight down, and dead on. So we're going to get a measurement from right in here, not down here. We're going to get it at our curved point there. And then we're going to measure all the way down to, let me back that up. Sorry. Right there, the throat or the knock of the arrow. Let's get that measurement real quick. So we're exactly 27 1/4, and we're going to add 1.75 to that, and so that's going to give us exactly where we needed to be for our draw length, which, when I will tell you when that bow is out of time, there's a 1/2 inch difference in the actual draw length of that. So it's dead on at 29, which is awesome. We're going to recheck it just to make sure. So we're going to recheck. So 27 1/4. 27 1/4 plus our 1.75 is going to give us 29. That gives you your actual ammo. So the PSE is reading dead on. Oh, sorry. Let's see if it will let me flip that. Dead on to the 29 that we have it set to. And so that's the important thing. Now we're going to check poundage and see if the poundage hits where it's supposed to be. We're also going to check axle to axle so we know where it's at. Everything is maxed out on the bow currently. And as we look at this bow, slot the space smidge, so we're going to expect this to hit right at 70. It's a 70-pound bow, and some of these bows are a little bit hot out of the factory, Hoyts, the Matthews, sometimes it just really depends, but that's what's going into the factors of how we're choosing my bow. So the Mach 30DS, exactly at 29, when set at 29, when it's in time. The other day I measured this bow with it not being in time, and you got a 1/2 inch difference in draw length, which means that your cam was that much faster. And so now we're dead on at 29. We're gonna get the last sensor tree draw checker. We're gonna check it out and see what our actual draw length is hitting. I'm gonna give you the peak weight. I'm gonna give you everything on that real quick. So let's take the Mach 30 and check it out. Again, that timing matters a lot. So zeroed out. Oh, feels like I really like that draw cycle. So I got 68 to start. Let's try it again. Again. And that time 67.5 and 7.8. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. It's pretty hard to see. Let's see, because he's trying to check my face. So 7.8 whole pound, 65 or 67.5. Let's go check our axle to axle. I'm sure it's a little bit long. We're going to bring that back down, and I bet it hits because I don't want to do this anywhere where it gives anybody an unfair advantage. So let's go make sure that our axle to axle is the correct length. And I'm going to do that right now. And we're actually dead on at 30, so that bow's a little bit light poundage wise, but I'm gonna put it in here, get that, so you can show you this. I want to show y'all just that we're giving everybody this bow. We're wanting to see where it comes out when it's in spec, and this one is. We'll check our brace height as well, and again, this should be 30 inches. Let's take this up so I can show you all that. We also have a yardstick. Hey, will you grab me the yardstick real quick? Sorry, it's really hard to show this. But middle to middle is actually dead on at 30. So that's perfect. Gracias. Thank you very much. And using the yardstick just to show you. And with the yardstick, exact same thing, dead on at 30. All right, y'all, so we've got the brace height. We're ever so slightly off on the brace height. It's supposed to be 6. And we're just a smidge long, which could be our poundage issue. But we can get that fixed as we need to. It's right there, which is in the 16th. So as we look at the PSE Mach 30DS, our axle to axle was dead on. Our poundage was, like 2.5 short on the third weight check. The first 2 times it was at 68. Brace height was off of 16th. I can bring that bow up to 70, but what we're looking at is how, as the bow sits, how does it stack up to what the numbers say? And honestly, it's pretty dang close. That 2 pounds could be the draw weight checker that we're using, or it can be me going ahead and adding a couple of twists and getting this back up to 70, but that's how it sits. Draw length was dead on at 29, and I can tell y'all I messed with all this to make sure that we were doing it right and we weren't leading y'all astray. And when that bow is out of time, there's a half-inch difference, which means it was probably half an inch out of time. And once we get everything in time, it's dead on, absolutely dead on the 29. So the speeds that we're going to get later are based on a 29-inch draw length. Now, as I move into the other bows, I'll be making those exact same comparisons, and as in the next videos, we'll do each bow that we're testing as their own video, and then we'll do a final video that stacks all the numbers up with everything that you needed to know data-wise on each bow. So we're going to have the PSE MACH 30DS and all the other bows that we're testing. Just as honest as I can be, I think it's a really awesome bow on the PSE. I really like when you draw it back. I love the back wall that feels like you have to push it forward. That's just me personally. It's not all this, which is our let off, which is the let off of the bow. But as I look at that, I really, really like that on a bow. Is when I draw back, it really locks in. This bow is hitting the numbers that we need it to, but you're not going to get a full 10 points for that. Obviously, that when you're peaking out, we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that it's 2 pounds light of where it's supposed to be. I can't give it a full 10 there. So your axle to axle, your draw length, we're dead on. But then when your poundage isn't, that's a little bit of an issue, right? So we're only going to stick around maybe, I think 8's fair though. So the PSE MACH 30DS is going to get 8 in terms of the actual setup of the bow. Is it meeting the numbers that it says it's going to meet? So your axle to axle, your draw length, and your poundage. We're two pounds shy. Again, I'm not going to go back and adjust it to bring the poundage up. I can do that, but we're going to test it as is compared to the rest of the bow. So I hope you stay tuned for our next bow that's going to be in video 4.